Hello and good evening. You're watching The State of Business with me, Nishani Figuera. First, to look at tonight's headlines. Sri Lanka to introduce new bill to manage public enterprises. And JVP leader blames government for burdening the public with taxes. Minister of Development Strategies and International Trade Malik Samaravikrama says the government will shortly introduce a Public Enterprise Act. He said under that, a public enterprise board will be established which will include leading members of the private sector, public sector, trade unions, and it will be chaired by a private sector individual. The minister was speaking at the final session of the Sri Lanka Economic Summit organized by the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce in Colombo today.
As we know, a part of public wealth, and they are supposed to be for the benefit of the people of our country. Therefore, it is absolutely necessary to set up a framework to have the SOEs managed and operated as efficient commercial enterprises based on prudent commercial principles, ensuring adequate returns equal to or more than the comparable commercial enterprises in the private sector. With this objective in mind, our government will shortly introduce a Public Enterprise Act within the next month or so.
Central Bank Governor Dr. Indrajit Kumaraswamy says Sri Lanka needs to improve the structural framework of the economy to ensure that growth is sustained. Addressing the Sri Lanka Economic Summit in Colombo, the governor said that the government should also ensure consistency and predictability in its policies.
I think if we can stay on track, this has been the main source of instability in the system. If we can crack this, we'll go a long way towards creating the conditions for sustained growth and employment generation. And also, our concern has been lack of consistency and predictability in the policy framework for some years. If you look at it carefully, a lot of the volatility in policy is driven by the government budget. When the government is constrained for resources, it has to do all kinds of mid-course corrections all along. It has to impose cesses, taxes, tariffs, all kinds of things to address the revenue shortfall as it goes along. And that's what creates volatility in the policy framework.
The governor noted that when budget deficit and balance of payment come under pressure, it would also lead to constant policy changes.
Equally, the large budget deficit creates excess demand that leaks into imports. And when the balance of payments comes under pressure, again the government has, so these two cash flows, the budget and the balance of payments, when they're under trouble, when they're in difficulty, and usually it is due to the excess demand pumped in by the budget, then the government is constantly having to recalibrate its policies, and that creates the uncertainty that you see in the policies. And so if you can do away with that fiscal challenge, you go a long way towards addressing the volatility.
In more news tonight, the Janata Vimukti Peramuna says the government is burdening the people with taxes as revenues are continuously falling. Addressing the media, the JVP leader Anura Kumar Dissanayake said in year 2000, government revenue stood at 15.6% of gross domestic product, and last year it has dropped to 11.6% of GDP.
පැවති සහ පවතින සෑම පාලනයක්ම බහණ්ඩාගාරයේ රාජ්‍ය ආදායම හීනවීමේ ගැටලුවට මුහුණ දීලා තිබෙනවා. ඒ නිසා වර්තමාන ආණ්ඩුවත් මේ බහණ්ඩාගාරයේ මුදල් හිගවීමේ ගැටලුවට මුහුණ දීලා තිබෙනවා. ඔවුන් එම ගැටලුවට විසඳුම් හොයන්නේ කොහොමද? විසඳුම් හොයන්න සිදු වී තිබෙන්නේ කොහොමද? අපේ රටේ රාජ්‍ය ආදායමෙන් 90%ක්ම දැන් බදු ආදායම. මොකද රජයේ සතු තිබුණු කර්මාන්තවල ටික එක්ක වහලා දැම්මා. එක්ක විකුණලා දැම්මා. රජයේ සතුව තිබුණු සේවා ආයතනයන් සමහර ඒවා වහලා දැම්මා. සමහර ඒවා විකුණලා දැම්මා. ඒ නිසා සිදු වී තිබෙන දේ තමයි ක්‍රමානුකූලව අනෙකුත් රාජ්‍ය ආදායම් අඩු වෙමින් බදු මත පමණක් තමන්ගේ රාජ්‍ය ආදායම තීරණය වෙන තත්ත්වයක් ඇති වී තිබෙනවා.
The State of Business will return with more news after this short break. Welcome back. You're watching The State of Business. The 53rd Conference of Directors General of Civil Aviation of the Asia and Pacific region got underway in Colombo today for the third day. This is the second time the conference is being held in Sri Lanka.
The Directors General of Civil Aviation, who heads the National Regulatory Authority of countries in Asia and the Pacific, hold an annual conference since 1960 with the objective of working together on a common platform to ensure that the international rules and standards in civil aviation are implemented and adhered to in a uniform and consistent basis. Delegations from over 30 states, including airlines and aviation services provider organizations and 7 international professional agencies, are participating in the conference.
If you ask me about what is my impression about this time, I'm going to tell you this is simply fabulous. I have attended many DGCA conferences in the past, and I think you are conducting one of the finest DGCA conference that I've ever attended.
The 5-day conference ends on Friday. The 54th Conference of Directors General of Civil Aviation of the Asia and Pacific region will be held in Mongolia next year.
CSE Holdings, the sole agent of Abbott Nutrition for Sri Lanka, announced the relaunch of Pediasure to the Sri Lankan market. The children's nutrition supplement will be available in new packaging line.
Launched under the theme Designed for Value, Pediasure offers consumers 1 kilogram and 400 gram cartons.
We are glad today to partner with our own J&J team to take this product to groceries. Our focus was right throughout in the modern trade and the pharmacies. But with the joining hands with Johnson & Johnson sales team, we'll be able to take the product with the relaunch to take it to the groceries.
Let's take a look at how the stock market performed after this break. Welcome back to the show. The market closed positive on the back of local and foreign participation, which boosted the turnover to cross 1.4 billion rupees. The all share price index gained 8.28 points to close at 6,511.58, while the S&P SL 20 gained 4.45 points to close at 3,534.12. Turnover for the day amounted to 1.4 billion rupees, with 43.5 million shares being traded. The top traded counters were John Keel's Holdings with 370.6 million rupees, Chevron Lubricants with 241.2 million rupees, Distilleries 94.8 million rupees, Alamex 54.7 million rupees, and Sampath Bank 46.7 million rupees. Foreign investors remained net buyers on equities, with interest seen on John Keel's Holdings, Sampath Bank and Distilleries. Foreign inflows amounted to 487.2 million rupees, whilst foreign outflows totaled 463.1 million rupees. And now let's take a look at the day's forex rates. And with that, we wrap up for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow at the same time. Thank you for watching. Good night.